Backcourt to Frontcourt podcast. That was Undefined playing a part of me on iTunes. My name is Everett Davis. I'm your Backcourt today, dishing to my Frontcourt Ezra Smith. How's it going, buddy?
It's going great. It is going wonderful.
It is a horrible rainy Sunday here in North Carolina.
It is a sunny, lovely Sunday here in southern Utah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Again, this is Backcourt to Frontcourt, the podcast without the experts, with no insider information, and just little to no information in general. This is for the fans, by the fans.
Very credible.
Two schmucks talking into microphones. Ezra, it is playoff time.
Oh, yes. Last night was amazing.
Yes, this is recorded on Sunday the 14th, so we are one day into the playoffs, and it has already been, if I can use that word. I mean, I am the playoffs right now. Apologize, that might be not safe for work.
Please stop.
that was a little bit rough, but I am excited.
I remember I texted you last night, and I was like, the smell of upset is in the air.
Oh yeah. I watched the 70. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
That's all. Get into that. Before we get into that, though, we have two topics for this week. Obviously, I would love to. We want to talk about the playoffs. Playoffs are hot right now, but we're going to be talking about the playoffs for the next couple weeks. So we need to get something out of the way, and that is the awards. The regular season has come to an end. We are done with the regular season. The stats for a regular season are final. Players are done, and we need to talk about our awardees, who are our champions, and everything like that. So we're going to detour for a second. We're first going to talk about this, and then we're going to go into the playoffs and talk about some playoff stuff. So, we got to do a weekly roundup real quick. Let me just go through that real fast. Thunder beat Rockets. That's the wrong one. I'm looking at the wrong one.
They did though.
Was that this week?
Yeah.
That was
just not playoffs. It's not playoffs.
I'll cut that out. But yeah. So I'm so far into the playoffs. I forgot that actually basketball happened earlier this week.
Regular season is. We don't even care.
Yeah, but the Thunder beat the Rockets in a potential matchup for the playoffs. Back then, we thought that they were going to be in the first round together. That was back when everyone thought they were going to be first round matchups. Still, big thing. Buzzer beater was pretty cool. D Wade and Dirk final home games. Pretty sad. Pretty cool.
It was awesome.
We shoved Dirk off the retirement cliff. He finally said he was retiring. They got 30 pieces each, and Jamal Crawford also dropped 51, which was something.
Yeah, it was funny. After the game, Dirk was like, and I'm a little mad at Jamal. He stole my night.
Yeah. No one cares about Jamal. Sorry, Jamal. Magic Johnson steps down as president of basketball operations out of freaking nowhere, man.
Right when I thought my Lakers were going to be something, we are once again a pile of hot garbage.
Yeah, absolutely out of nowhere.
Now we're steaming. Now the fumes are visible.
Yeah, that goes into Luke Walton being fired also this week. But he's already found employment. He's already gone to the Kings. They fired their head coach. Was it Yoger? Is that how you say his name? The old head coach for the Kings?
Jaeger.
That's a cool name. That's a cool last name.
He was the coach of the Grit and Grind Grizzlies.
Yeah. Solid coach, but his time is up. So Luke Walton is already finding new employment. Doesn't have to move very far. He's
just going up to North Cal.
Just going up to Sacramento. AD wears a "That's all, folks" to his last game with the Pelicans. He says it was not his fault. Says that he doesn't even dress himself, which is kind of concerning.
I don't dress myself.
When he said that, when he says I just wear what they give me, I was like, what? Like, I know some NBA stars have like fashion like advice and stuff, but I thought they'd have some say in it, you know. But moving into what we already talked about, the playoffs began as well last night. 3 upsets in the first night. The only non-upset being the Warriors, which was at the half looking like it could have been an upset, but Steph did what he does, and so they pulled away. But
something I noticed is every team that won last night shot better from the 3-point line. Every one of them.
Did they?
And especially in the upsets, the top seeds that lost only shot like 20%. It was just trash. So that was interesting. That's the league we have today.
Yeah. Well, especially I watched the Raptors game. We can't get into that. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. The Raptors game was very interesting. I watched it at a bar, and a lot of people were getting into it. And
it was DeMar DeRozan the problem. Mr. Kyle Lowry 0 points.
Yeah, it's definitely
that's for later.
Yeah, that's for later. All right, but let's get into our award selection. I don't know what day the NBA awards are on. Do you remember the first NBA awards show that we watched together at my house?
Yeah, and
that was horribly terrifying.
And I'm never gonna ever watch it again. Didn't
No,
watch it last year. Won't watch
never
it this
again.
year.
Never again. But let's go into our selection for our NBA awards. We're gonna start with the All NBA. The All NBA teams. Actually, let's start with the rookies, since that's kind of a smaller thing. Let me just rustle my papers real quick as I flip over to my rookies, which are right here.
So you just blink because I didn't prepare for this one.
Let me just go like this, so the fans all three of them know that I do research and stuff. Here's
we
paper.
Actually do try.
I was in a class all week, and a military class with the military, and I wasn't paying attention half the time. I was just filling out my All NBA teams and writing stuff down. But all rookie teams. All right. So I think we just go position by position. So let's start with the first team. First guard. I'll go first. Okay, never mind. You went first. It's whatever. Screw it, I think. So yes, my first guard was Luka Doncic. But I think we can just swap our guards. It's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah, and I think he'll probably get categorized as a forward.
You think so?
Yeah.
I thought for sure they'd categorize him as a guard.
No, I think they still consider him a forward, just like how they had Jalen Brunson playing point guard technically.
I mean, Jalen Brunson is a point guard.
Yeah. But like Luka, his position, I'm pretty sure it's the forward from Slovenia, the 6'7" forward.
I had him as guard. I've seen him as a guard for everything since I've been looking.
I don't know.
Whatever. But yeah, my other guard is Trae Young. I think that's just a given. It's just, those two guys have been the standouts. They are competing for Rookie of the Year. They are putting up great numbers. With Luka, I don't want to say it's expected because you can never expect a rookie completely, but I say it's much more impressive from Trae because of his cold start.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Definitely starting out cold and then getting good kind of helps you get a little more attention.
Yes, I completely agree. When it comes to Trae, I think he fit into a role in Atlanta that I really loved. I think that his whole season has really refreshed Atlanta for me. When they traded Luka for Trae, I was pretty shocked because everyone was kind of hot on Luka. And I've never been a huge fan of Atlanta, but I would say Trae has definitely kind of made me love that team a little bit, just because they're kind of in that stage where the Kings were at last year, and I'm hoping that next year they're at where the Kings are at this year, where they're a fringe playoff team or they are a playoff team, depending on what happens in the offseason, I guess. I think they'll be fringe. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs next year. I think they'll be a fringe playoff team again. But I'm just excited because that team actually looks like something that can happen. It looks like a team that can actually grow. And then obviously I like Luka too. I like the Mavs. Obviously they have room to grow. They have Kristaps Porzingis and they have gotten rid of Dirk. So they're obviously in a great position. But forwards, who's your first forward?
I'd say Marvin Bagley.
Yep, that's my first forward as well.
I'm gonna call him a forward. Yeah,
he's 6'11".
I know, but I think you can consider him a center.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to say he was a guard. I was like, are you drunk right now? No, he's a forward. He moves and plays forward too much to be a center. But yeah, I have Marvin Bagley.
Plus, I have a guy who I want for center, so I'm gonna call Bagley a forward.
Okay, and then I have Jaren Jackson as my other forward.
Yeah.
Is that
just a bummer? Just a bummer that he was injured.
Yeah, so, obviously a short season.
Yeah, it's definitely him.
Yeah, of course. I think it has to be at that point. I mean, all the guys we're saying are pretty much the standout rookies. You know, I think rookie first team is one of the easiest ones to do. I think it's just because there's like you never have that many rookies that show out completely. You know, you usually only have one handful or maybe up to 7 rookies that are really showing out. And so I think it makes the all-rookie first team kind of easy. I think the all-rookie second team is the harder one. But
yeah.
Who's your center? I have DeAndre Ayton, but I think you might have somebody else. I think you might have Mitchell Robinson.
I guess I have to do. I totally forgot DeAndre Ayton existed. It's really tough because I really want to say Mitchell Robinson because I just think that he was great. But yeah, I think I'd have to say DeAndre Ayton just because of what he did.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton to me is the standout center. Like I should say a rookie standout center. He's not a standout center yet to me. I think he's struggling.
I don't think he's that amazing at this point.
No, I think he is struggling and I don't want to say he's struggling. I think the Suns are struggling, and I think that reflects on him a little bit, which makes me kind of sad because there's definitely potential there. He's obviously he's a solid center. I just don't think he's getting. I don't think it's showing enough. It does concern me that they were playing him 30 minutes a game, and I guess it's not too bad. He was getting let's see here, 16.3 points and 10.3 rebounds, and I just thought going into this that he would have. Those are great numbers, but I thought he'd have better rebound numbers, like especially on the Suns. I was expecting like 12, 13 rebounds a game. I don't know. I just thought he'd be I thought he'd be more of a focal point for the Suns scoring. I thought he was going to be 20 and 10 at least. I thought he was going to be a 20 and 10 player his first year because of where he was. Because I thought it was the Suns. You know, I thought he was going to be, their second scoring option, and he might be. I don't really know. Was he their second scoring option on the Suns?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So I thought he'd have a little more points than that. He shot 58% from the field, which is obviously fine and good, but. Again, I can't put that on him. He's a rookie with the Suns. That's not really his fault. But the more interesting team to me is the second team. I think this is when it gets tough, where you kind of have to make cases for people, because this is when you get into there's a lot of rookies that are just solid, that they're doing well, and you are proud of them, and you can make a lot of cases for them. So, your first guard. Who's your first guard for the second all-rookie team?
My first guard is Colin Sexton.
Same here, Colin Sexton. I think he is if you want to say sixth, like good rookie. I think there really is I think there's 6 or 7 rookies that are really good or have been doing good this season, and I think he is the 6th one after those 5 guys. So I think that's a given to me. Colin Sexton came onto the Cavs the first season, LeBronless Cavs, and he's been I don't want to say he's been doing fantastic, but he's struggled here and there. But even though he has let's see here, he is second for minutes played per game of the rookies. He's playing 31 minutes per game, 16 points, 3 rebounds, only 3 assists. That's concerning to me. I feel like he needs to learn to pass better. Because you're playing 30 minutes and you're only getting 3 assists. Trae Young was playing 30 minutes and was getting 8 assists per game.
Yeah, and he's on the Hawks.
Yeah, and
he's got nobody.
Right. And you could say the same for Colin Sexton. He's on the Cavs, but that's the differentiating factor right there between Colin Sexton and Trae Young. Trae Young scoring more. He's just facilitating more. He's a better point guard. But you can't. But again, Colin Sexton's still doing really well, and I hope the Cavs can make something out of him. We'll see though. We'll see how they do. Your second guard. This is interesting to me. This is the one, because Colin Sexton I knew you'd have, but who was your second guard?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, we are on the same brainwave, my friend. Yes.
Well, I don't know who else it would be. I would want to say maybe Jalen Brunson.
I would say Jalen Brunson.
He's after the All-Star break. That's where it gets difficult, because a lot of these rookies, it's after the All-Star break where they actually get, good.
Right. But I was going to be happy to put Jalen Brunson up there or Landry Shamet. I would have. Those were 2 guys that I'm still hot on. I like both of them a lot, but I think Shai is the choice. Why'd you go with Shai?
He's playing great basketball on a playoff team. He's one of the only rookies that actually is playing a role right now. A lot of them are in their off season. I like his defense. I like his vision. And I think he's just a good point guard. I think he's going to be good for the Clippers.
Yeah, I think he was a great grab for the Clippers. I think he is one of those focal pieces that has gotten the Clippers to where they're at right now against the Warriors, which obviously might be a sweep. But regardless, you draft someone like that and he immediately comes in and is able to show out and help your team to get to that position. That's awesome. That's a great grab and a great pick. Let's move on to your forward. Who's your first forward?
My first forward is Kevin Huerter.
Okay.
Huerter?
Yeah,
on the Hawks.
All right. Well, what? So my first forward is Mikal Bridges. That was my first pick. I think he is. I mean, he's played the entire season. I think he's doing really. I think he's. I'm not gonna say doing really well, but he's doing pretty well. Shooting 43% from the field and stuff. Kevin, I don't even have Kevin Huerter. How I would say his name. I don't have him on my second team at all. He's not my next forward. He's on my. I made a third team just for fun. It's kind of like a nod to players that I think could have been on team, but he is not on my second team at all. I like him. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good player. I just don't think he's had an impact like some of these other players have. Who's your other forward?
It would be Mikal Bridges.
Okay, my other forward was I can't say his name. Regions Krukus.
I have no idea who that is.
You don't know who that is? He is he's on the I want to say the Pistons. There he is. I had to find him real quick. Which team is he on? I'm pretty sure he's on the. No, he's on the Nets. That's it, Nets. That's why, because I saw him last night. I saw him playing last night.
Oh, he's that random name that was on the Nets starting.
Yeah, lineup. Yeah. I like him a lot. Since I've been keeping up with the Nets this season, he has been really impressing me. I'm not gonna say he's a focal point of the Nets, but when they have needed something, he's been there. He shoots 45% from the field. That's only on 3 shots a game, but still, to me, that's on 7 shots a game. My apologies. That's on 7 shots a game. So he's been shooting really well. He hasn't played every game this season. I haven't been tracking him, so I don't know if he was injured, but he is a really good defender. I'm not going to say really good. He's a solid defender. Watched him with the Nets last night. They didn't use him very much, so it's kind of hard to tell, but he, to me, it looks like he has an impact on the Nets that a lot of people aren't seeing, and he looks like an impactful player that I have been watching and I've liked for a while, so that's why I went with him. But that's my pick. That's my other forward. Who's your center? Mine's Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah. I think if DeAndre Ayton wasn't scoring as much as he is now, if he was only doing 10 points a game, it would have been Mitchell Robinson over DeAndre Ayton to me.
Well, yeah, and I think if Mitchell Robinson wasn't playing 24 minutes a game, bring him up to 30 or bring DeAndre Ayton down to 24. I think it's Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, someone's been really bothering me. Who's the shot blocker on the Nets? What's his name?
Oh, Jared Allen?
Yeah, Jared Allen. The Bleach Report and SportsCenter, they keep bringing up Jared Allen when it comes to blocks. They keep bringing him up. Like every article they're talking about Jared Allen, this guy who meets people at the rim, Jared Allen this. And I'm just like, Mr. Robinson is here. I mean, he's averaging how many blocks a game? Like 2.3 or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's leading the rookies in blocks per game.
And 2.4.
Yeah, 2.4 blocks per game, which is...
He's 1 block ahead of the next rookie.
Yeah. Like, that's insane. And I don't get why people keep bringing up...
The reason Jared Allen gets so much attention is just because he's the guy who jumps at dunks. So either he gets posterized and he's on the highlight film, or he actually blocks them.
Which all credit to whoever that guy's name is, Jared Allen. Because, again, I like the Nets, and Jared Allen looks like a really solid player. But all credit to him for challenging those dunks and stuff like that. But I just feel like people are associating again, obviously blocks are not easy to do. It's not easy to block a full-grown NBA player, but I feel like people need to understand that big-time blocks don't always correlate to, a solid defensive player. Jarrett Allen is not a good defensive player whatsoever.
He is.
No, he's not. Jarrett Allen?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's
his whole focal point is rebounding and defense.
No, Jarrett Allen. The Nets get shredded at the center possession. They get shredded
that's because they're facing Joel Embiid. Like
no, by all their centers, they've always had a struggle. That's their weak point, is the center position. Jarrett Allen, he did not come off from the games I've watched the Nets. He's never come off as a good defender. He always comes off as lost and biting. He always takes the bait on like half the pump fakes they give him. He bites on them. He never came across to me as a solid defender. He came across as a light defender. Like he's quick on his feet and he has the ability to block people. But that's all I've ever got from Jarrett Allen. But my third team, this third team that I made for fun, I have Jalen Brunson and Landry Shamet as my two guards, and then I have the Kevin Huerter guy as my forward, and Jamario Jones as one of my forwards. Are you familiar with this rookie?
Nah, but you forgot Josh Okogie.
I know, and that is painful to me, and I love Josh Okogie. Don't get me wrong.
He could be second team.
I don't think he could. I like Josh Okogie, man. I'm a really big fan of Josh Okogie. I like him a lot. I think he is an incredibly versatile player that people underlook a lot of the times because he doesn't put up the numbers that other players do. But this player, Jamario Jones, this is kind of a joke pick for me, honestly, because he's only played 6 games this year. But in those 6 games, they played him 23 minutes a game, 24 minutes a game, and he averaged 8.2 rebounds, and it really should have been Josh Okogie that I picked, but I just like his name and I like who he is, so I'm going with Jamario Jones because say that 5 times fast and it's awesome. Jamario Jones. I just love it. But no, in all realness, my other pick might have been Wendell Carter. I think he has had a pretty good season. He's been he's one of those players for the Bulls that is is kind of one of the reasons that I think they're going to do well in the future, and I'm positive outlook on the Bulls. Of course with Lauri Markkanen and stuff, but he's their forward center that I have a lot of faith in. But speaking of center, my other center for the third team is Kevin Knox. I think that's just because he is the third center that is good.
He's not a center.
Did I get those two mixed up? I think Wendell Carter's the center and Kevin Knox is the forward.
Yeah, Wendell Carter's the center.
Yeah, so I got those two mixed up. But yeah, switch those two. Wendell Carter's the center, Kevin Knox is the forward. And I think it's just because at this point with the third team, you're running out of rookies.
You just have to pick a name.
Yeah, and he's been doing okay.
Even though Kevin Knox has been kind of bad, but
yeah, struggling. Kind of a sad pick to see go to waste for the Knicks. But
we'll give him time.
Of course. And once he has Kevin Durant next year, he'll do better. Once he what was that screenshot I sent you? What was that photo I sent you?
Oh, the 2020 NBA Finals.
For people listening,
Kyrie Irving.
I cannot stand the internet when it comes to photoshopping and making teams, because there's a photo going around of the 2020 finals between the Knicks and the Lakers that people think that somebody made, and I hope it's satire. I hope it is, but there are people sharing it that I don't know if they're satirical or not. But the Knicks have Zion Williamson, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, and DeMarcus Cousins, right? That's the 5 on the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Lakers have Kyle Kuzma, who I think it's hilarious that they kept him in there. I thought they were going to Photoshop someone over him. He's the rookie they left in there. They have Kyle Kuzma, LeBron James. Who else was in that photo? Who else did they have?
I think it was flipped. I think Kemba was on the Knicks and Kyrie was on the Lakers.
No, I think Kemba was on the Lakers. I don't remember, but to you people out there who Photoshop sports teams and like people in jerseys, I can't stand you. I love you all so much, but I also hate you for your talent. because when I see things like they have like, because a lot of times these guys don't understand like how like cap space works, so they'll Photoshop like 6 guys on the same team who are all like max contract players. It's hilarious to me. Okay, let's move on though. Let's go to the All NBA defense teams.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll go to our All NBA teams. These ones were harder for me because obviously defense is a harder thing to quantify than most things in the league. I mean, everyone talks about it. It is it's a hard thing to statisticalize. I don't know if that's a word. Is that a word? Statisticalize?
It is now.
It is now. It's a hard thing to statisticalize. Obviously, you have things like steals and blocks and stuff like that are defensive stats, but you just can't statisticalize athleticism and stuff like that and speed all the time. It's just a harder thing to do.
Yeah, especially a lot of the advanced stats, because if you're on a sucky team, your defensive win shares and things like that still suck.
Yeah,
because you lose. So it's hard.
So let's get into this. Your first guard. Who's your first guard? Did I lose you for a second?
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear anything you just said.
Okay. All right, we'll have to cut that out. Technical difficulties. Let's go back into this. So, sorry about that. That was some technical difficulties real quick.
Yeah, just a little note. I think it's whenever you start the Skype recording, I think it jacks up the audio, because that's when you start sounding like a robot to me.
1 second. I'm gonna see if that helps. I'm putting my phone next to my computer. All right. Here we go. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Some technical difficulties. Which we use Skype to record and communicate with each other. So it sometimes doesn't work out as it all should. You love technology. But we're on the All NBA defense teams. So who is your first guard for the first team All NBA defense?
All right, so like, this is just my guard. Like, I didn't rank these in like, this is on my first team, but it's like, if I say a guard second, that doesn't mean I think the other guard's better. It's just, so I had Drew Holiday.
Okay.
As one of my guards.
All right. That was a solid pick. I like that. I also have Drew Holiday as one of my guards. My other guard is Marcus Smart.
Oh.
That is my other guard. I just think what's your case for Drew Holiday? Why do you think Drew Holiday is first team all defense?
I've paid a lot more attention to him ever since he clamped Damian Lillard in last year's playoffs. And I don't know what transpired these last couple of years with him. Like when they shifted him to shooting guard and they brought Rondo, he just became this elite wing defender. And especially just being in the West where some of the best guards in the league are and having to defend them day in and day out. And I just think it's evident that he game plans and he does it properly.
Right.
And he knows what he needs to do to stop the opponent.
Right. And it's kind of a tough league to currently be an elite defensive guard in, because you have players that they have the ability to create space and score in such versatile and quick ways that it's tough to really say who's a fantastic defensive guard, because you against people like James Harden or Russell Westbrook, who are they're just tough guys to guard. But you can tell with Drew Holiday that when he's guarding somebody, his gears are turning. Some players, they're out there and you're looking at them and it just seems like they're trying to keep their body near the player. They're trying to keep up with them. But Drew Holiday, I think it's his athleticism is one part of it. I think he's much more athletic than some of the guards out here and quicker than a lot of the guards. But you can tell he's playing conscious defense, which some players in the NBA just don't do. They just don't have, which is completely conscious defense, where they're processing what's going on in their head real time and accordingly making defensive decisions about it. So I completely agree. I think it's Drew Holiday as well. I chose Marcus Smart for my other guard because, to me, Marcus Smart is somehow, even though he's 6'4",
Yeah.
Even though he's 6'4", he is still, in a league like we have, a near positionless defender. Obviously, you put guys who are 6'8", 6'9" on him, and that's bad news. No one's going to deny you that. But it seems like he will give anybody a hard time. It seems like he's going to harass you completely, and not just in the way of like a Patrick Beverley, who I also think is a great defender, but he's going to make whatever job you have as a player, he's going to make it tough on you. And he seems to do that switching really well. It seems like when he's guarding shooters, he knows how to aggravate the shooter and how to make them miss more shots and how to keep up with them. But when he's guarding a bigger player, maybe he gets switched on a 4 or 3, and he's able to guard them in the post by completely switching how he plays defense and his body and everything. And that's why I chose Marcus Smart. Who is your...
My second guard. My second guard is Klay Thompson.
Okay.
And that's just because, he's on the best team in the league, obviously, and he's assigned the task to guard the other team's best player every game. When they play the Blazers, he's the one guarding Damian Lillard. He guards the point guards, the shooting guards, the small forwards, whichever position they need him to guard, because obviously Steph Curry's not this elite defender, and so I think just his ability to do that, and obviously it works. I mean, he's talked about around the league, he's brought up, and I just think that speaks to his ability as a defender and his commitment to that side of the court as well as on offense.
Got it. So I'm going to ask this next thing real quick. Do you put Draymond as a forward or a guard?
Draymond?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a forward.
Yeah, he's completely a forward. I was doing some research last night, and a couple of sites had him as a guard, and I was really confused. Like, there's players you can argue about what position they are, but to me, Draymond is, you don't see him doing guard things. So, all right, but that goes into my first forward for the all first team is Draymond Green. To me, he is one of the, if not the best defender in the league. Personally, that's what I think. I don't like Draymond. I think he a lot of times is the Achilles heel of the Warriors. A lot of times when defenses, when they decide not to play on Draymond, when they understand that he's not a threat and they pull their forwards off of him, it creates a lot of problems for the Warriors because he is not an offensive threat. But that's okay because he has 4 offensive threats on his team, and he gets to be the one. 2. He's one of the 2. Obviously, I agree. Klay Thompson is a defensive threat, but he gets to be, to me, the defensive threat on the team. I would debate. I think a lot of times they put Draymond on the bigger players if they're the best players. If they have an elite small forward, they put Draymond on him because I think Draymond, despite he's not as tall as some small forwards, but he is the big body and he is the aggravator. Like, I think there's not a player that, besides maybe Russ and Patrick Beverley, there's not a player who can aggravate other players as well as Draymond Green can. Now, he gets caught up in the aggravation sometimes on his own as well, but I think he is my first pick for the forward for all defensive first team. Who's your pick?
I've got Kawhi Leonard.
All right.
The Claw.
You really think so on this season? You think it's Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah, I don't think he's... I've been very surprised. I don't think he's taken really any steps back with regards to his game at all this season.
I guess we'll see who your second pick is, and we'll see if. I agree. I'm in agreement that he's a elite defender still. He is, if not one of the best defenders the NBA has seen. He's not first team for me. My next pick is Paul George. I think Paul George has been I think he's been struggling the last couple games of the season with his defense, but I think he was a better defender this year than Kawhi Leonard, just because of his. I think a lot of it comes down to his team's need for it. I think the Raptors are a dang good defensive team. Like they're a good defensive team, and I think that's kind of makes it easier to overlook Kawhi Leonard. I think that with the Thunder, even though the Thunder are fine defensively, they're not bad per se. They have Steven Adams, who I think is a good defender, and Russ isn't horrible either. But Paul George to me has just elevated that team with his defense being able to shut down players that typically they wouldn't be able to shut down. Like last season, I don't think he was as good a defender, and I think that's what made a lot of their struggles happen is when they had small forwards come in and just roast them. So that's my pick for the forward. Who's your other forward?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh my god, I had him switched. I messed that up. Whatever. He's on my second team. I don't care. Even though he's yeah, that makes sense. Ever he's a defensive player of the year candidate. He's on your second team. That makes plenty of sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hey, when Marc Gasol won Defensive Player of the Year, he was put on second team.
I'm an idiot. I hate myself. I got things mixed up. Yeah, Giannis is my center. I'm saying it right now. Giannis is my center. I'm throwing Giannis in as my center. I've decided. No, you're completely right. I'm an idiot. You're completely right. Giannis is. Yeah.
My center is Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, that's my center.
He's probably yours.
Yeah, that's my center as well.
If it's not Giannis now.
Yeah, it should be Giannis now because I'm an idiot. Gosh dang it! I realized where I messed up. You want to? Can I make myself look like an idiot in front of everybody real quick? So, in my notes, I didn't put first names. I put abbreviations. So, D Green was not Draymond Green. It was Danny Green. I just realized. Because I look over at my second team and there's also a D Green and I was like, wait, did I mess up and put him twice? No, Danny Green is a guard for my first team, and Giannis was supposed to take his spot as the forward for my first team. So, other than me being an absolute useless waste of space, I think we have pretty similar first and defense teams. Besides, I guess our
we've got three.
Yeah, we got 3 of the 5.
We got Drew, Giannis, and Rudy.
Yeah, let's go to the second team, and let's just forget about how stupid I am real quick.
Yeah, let's just kind of get through them.
Yeah. So my first guard is I guess Danny Green. Since he wasn't supposed to be over there with the first team, I decided to move him. Second team, he'd be my first guard, and my other guard would be Eric Bledsoe.
Okay. I have Eric Bledsoe as well, and I have Jimmy Butler.
Okay. My forwards are Paul Millsap and and Danny Green. I had Pascal Siakam, but I crossed him off, and Draymond Green was my other forward.
My forwards are Paul George and Kevin Durant.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't put KD or Kawhi on my list because I just didn't think they were as show-out defenders this year as some of these other players who aren't as good of players, but they're better defenders in my opinion. My center was Joel Embiid.
Same.
Yeah. I think it's tough for me because I want to put him at center of the first team, of the first NBA defense team. But Rudy Gobert is just too.
It's so obviously Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, he's just too. He's too good of a threat at that position to be.
They should have 2 center. They should take out like one of the guard positions and put in another center position.
You think so?
For the defensive teams. Yeah, because I mean defense is so center oriented to only get to put 2 on.
Yeah. I agree.
But I'm not Adam Silver, so.
Yeah, it's true. We should be. Me and you should take over that position. We would ruin the league so fast. All right.
Go on.
Let's move on to the All NBA teams. Get those out of the way.
Woohoo.
There's 3 of them. Let's pound these out.
Let's pound them.
Let's get them. First 2 guards. I think we both have the same ones. James Harden, Steph Curry for me.
Same.
Yeah, it's obvious. Scoring machines. One's an MVP. They're both MVP candidates. Like I'll still say that. Steph Curry's still an MVP candidate, even if he isn't gonna make it. He's still a candidate,
especially now that he has contacts.
Yeah, especially now that he has contacts. The first forward, Giannis Antetokounmpo, obvious. Yep. The second forward, Paul George.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Paul George. That was a touch and go moment there. I had Kevin Durant written down and Paul George on my second team, but then I have an arrow switching them because I came to the realization that they were switched. Mm-hmm. Another touch and go. Your center.
Here we go. Joel Embiid.
I have Nikola Jokic.
And you have Joel Embiid on second?
Yes. I made the call even though it hurt me.
I think I flipped mine from last time, and I put Joel Embiid.
Yeah. It hurt me because of that defense reason. It was tough for me because it's just a fact that Nikola Jokic is not his defense is his weak point, and that can hurt the Nuggets at times. And so that was tough for me. But his other numbers and his presence on the floor and his facilitating and all of that, to me, is just it's more than Joel Embiid has done this season. Even though he's done a lot, don't get me wrong, he's done a lot, but it's more to me than that. So that's why I made that pick.
Alrighty, second team.
My guard, first one is Damian Lillard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Game dollar.
Because to me, he is the fifth MVP candidate. I think it goes Giannis, James Harden, then Paul George, Nikola Jokic, and then Damian Lillard. Those are my, and then Steph Curry after that. But I think he is. The only reason he's not first team this year is because of those two guys, and it's just like
it's because he's not Steph Curry and he's not James Harden.
Exactly. So that's the only reason. And the only reason he made it last year is because Steph was injured. That's what most people say. I think he did really well. I think it was tight between those two last year. But my other guard is Kyrie.
Mine's Kemba.
All right.
I don't like the stats that say that the Celtics play better without Kyrie Irving. Those don't make me feel like he's that great. I mean, like he's on my third team, but I think Kemba is more valuable.
I feel that comes down to just the fact that when they have Kyrie in, they're running Kyrie and they're running through Kyrie, and when they have Kyrie out, I don't know. It's tough for me because I get what you're saying. I've seen the stats. I've seen the numbers.
You shouldn't play better without.
You really shouldn't. Without your star. I agree. But yeah, I mean, I just have him on there because to me, he's just too good of a guard to leave off. I think even though they played worse with him on the floor, I think his play was far better than Kemba's this year. If Kemba had kept what Kemba did in the first month of the season, if he had kept that up, I think he would have been an MVP candidate. But for some reason, he was so hot and he was streaky this season. I mean, I feel like he has most seasons, but I feel like this season it was obvious. Like he played really well for like periods of time, and then was just gone for he just wasn't there. It felt like. My forwards are Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant.
Same.
Yeah, I think that's just
and then obviously,
and then when our centers were switched, my center is Joel Embiid.
Mine's Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, yours is Nikola Jokic. Third team. This is where I think
everything goes to hell.
We start disagreeing on things. My first guard is Russell Westbrook.
So mine's Kyrie Irving.
Okay. My second guard is D'Angelo Russell.
Mine is Bradley Beal.
This is where it gets difficult. I like Bradley Beal and I like D'Angelo Russell, but to me, D'Angelo Russell's just his play this season, not only because he's an MIP candidate, but also because of what he did to the Nets is what puts him on third team for me.
And that's just where the NBA awards get super hard. I was listening to Colin Cowherd and he was saying like the NBA awards are the worst awards in all of sports because they're the ones that make the least sense out of everything.
Right.
Because it's like, do I value someone's stats? Do I value who I know is the best player? Do I value what someone's done? And it really is. These are so hard because it's like, what am I ranking? Am I ranking points? Am I ranking impact?
From what I was listening to on, I think it was The Ringer. Maybe I read it. I don't remember. It was something basketball that I read or listened to this week. They intentionally keep it vague for that reason. They want you to associate something with these players.
Yeah.
They want the people who actually vote on these. I should say we don't vote on these. We're just schmucks. Again, this is just two idiots talking to each other, and we don't get to vote on these. But the people that do vote, the NBA intentionally keeps these definitions for these awards vague, for the fact of they want these voters to make a decision. They want to decide. Do they want the player who impacted his team more, or do they want the player who's better? They want people to decide that, and that's why I picked D'Angelo Russell over Kemba Walker. and Bradley Beal, because I think he impacted his team better than those guys. Bradley Beal had a great season, and so did Kemba Walker, but to me, it's D'Angelo Russell. My two forwards for the third team are LeBron James and Blake Griffin.
I also have Blake Griffin, but I have Klay Thompson.
So as your forward?
Yeah, so he's a guard on defense. He's a forward in offense for me. He's a swapper.
All right.
That's because he's 6'7".
I mean, fair. I mean, okay. But you left off LeBron James. You need to answer for that right now.
I have a list for my biggest snubs that I'll go through.
Okay. I mean, obviously he's a snub. And my center is Rudy Gobert.
Mine is too.
Yeah. So I think the centers weren't too hard. Okay. I have a All NBA fourth team.
I don't have a fourth team, but can I go through my snubs?
Let me just say my fourth team. These are the players these are my biggest snubs. These technically are my biggest snubs. Kemba Walker, Mike Conley, LaMarcus Aldridge, Chris Middleton, Andre Drummond. Those are the guys that I would have had next up.
Wow.
Yeah, those are the five guys.
Andre Drummond one surprises me.
I mean,
because my biggest center snub is Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I have him on my centers list. I have a whole list of centers that I had here. But to me, even though I have a lot of problems with Andre Drummond, I just think his rebounding numbers were incredible. And along with how a lot of people say it's Blake. Obviously I think Blake led the Pistons, but Andre has been like an anchor for that team, especially since Blake no longer really has the knees to do anything wholly aggressive. Andre a lot of times is an aggressor on that team and gets the tough rebounds and gets the hard stuff done that Blake can no longer do because he doesn't have the same body that he used to. Who are your snubs though?
Yeah. So my snubs are obviously I didn't put Russell Westbrook on a team.
Oh yeah.
I didn't put Karl Anthony Towns on a team, and he'll probably be NBA third team. I didn't put LeBron James on a team, and I didn't put Anthony Davis. Didn't put Anthony Davis on the team.
My snubs, my biggest snubs that I have are Bradley Beal, Brook Lopez, and Karl Anthony Towns. I think Brook Lopez was really good this season, and I think he deserves some credit for that as being an awesome center for the Bucks.
Yeah. I just didn't think Russell Westbrook deserved it. It's like congrats on averaging a triple-double for the third straight season, but if that's all you have to your name, if that's all all
you have, that's a triple-double, dude.
It doesn't matter if it translates to nothing.
It doesn't translate to nothing though. They're gonna get to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, for the first time since he's averaged a triple-double. The first 2 seasons of it, first round exits.
I mean, yeah, but that's also because that's all he had.
And his play, he shoots horrid.
Yeah,
right?
He's shooting like 28%?
28% from 3, 40-something from the field, and like 60-something from the free throw line.
I didn't even see that.
His true shooting's awful. I don't think he's that amazing of a player. Like, I think what he does statistically is amazing. Obviously, he's one of a kind in that regard. I just don't think. I don't know. I don't want to reward just crappy play. I hate the 30 shots he takes a game.
Yeah, I don't want to call it.
And
crappy
we'll get into
play,
that
though.
when I talk about my section.
I have an issue with like calling it crappy play because it's volume play to me. It's a whole different version of playing. Because if it was crappy play, I don't think they would be in the playoffs ever. I think especially since he has Paul George now. Before he had Paul George, you could have called it more crappy play, selfish ball. You could have called it like that. But somehow he's still playing the same kind of ball with Paul George in the team, and I think that says and doing well. Paul George being an MVP caliber player this season, and he's still doing it with that player on the team. And to me, that is incredible. That's I didn't expect that when they made the trade with that last year, beginning of the season for Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, I think it was. Even though I had higher hopes in Carmelo back then, now no one does. But I I thought his number. I remember saying goodbye your triple double. Like I thought that was the end of his triple double. Because he was gonna have two players that could score and get his rebounds, but he's still getting them somehow. Now I'll agree, there's definitely some looseness in how he's getting those stats, but I just don't think that you can discount that.
Yeah, and there was that little survey that was released where Russell Westbrook and Draymond Green were voted the most overrated players by like 70 players, I think.
Yeah, but players don't like Russell Westbrook. That's just a fact. A lot of people don't like him.
But they respect game.
Will they?
Players respect game.
I don't think they will. I think if they don't like a player, they're more inclined to talk bad about him and to do something like that. Especially if they know it can get in his head.
Yeah, well, you don't have to do much to get in Russell Westbrook's head.
It's true. Rent free. Okay. Year
awards.
What do you mean? Oh, the year awards. I don't have those written down, but let's get them. Let's do it. Let's get it.
All right. Here we go. This is the controversial stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Who cares about all NBA teams? This is the real deal.
Right.
I think we both have the same MVP.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. His team won over 60 games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's my thing.
Put up god numbers in 32 minutes. He hardly played at all.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to factor teams in, you got to factor it in all the way. You got to look at the teams and say, this dude was putting up incredible numbers on a team that was winning. And I mean, you can look at James Harden all you want, and let's say he scored 33 points per game or something like that. But 36 points per Jesus, that's also incredible. But it's just not the same thing. He's playing hero ball and he's playing it to his best. But
yeah, it's like when Russell Westbrook got his MVP. His MVP was because he averaged a triple double. I think we all know that. Mm-hmm. His team only won like 48 games.
It's just tough because then you strip both those players from their teams, and it's like, oh well, then you look at it that way, and it's obvious that James Harden's the MVP because if you take him away from the Rockets, they're nothing.
Yeah,
they're nothing. You take Giannis away from the Bucks, there's something there still. So people will make that argument, but I think it's just tough. That's not an easy pick for me. I say it fast and I say it confidently, but that's not an easy pick. I think James Harden has made an excellent case for being the MVP this year, and I won't be surprised if they give it to him. I'll say that I won't be surprised. But for me,
I wouldn't be
it's
surprised.
Giannis.
I wouldn't be that upset.
No,
I'm happy with either one of them.
Yeah, to me, it's Giannis.
All right, the Depot, the Defensive Player of the Year.
That goes to Rudy Gobert for me.
Same.
I think a lot of people want it to be Giannis as well, but I just think Rudy Gobert, and you look at what he does in the low post, and what he's been able to achieve in developing his perimeter defense as well is nice. That used to be his biggest crutch, was the fact that he couldn't guard the perimeter at all. Really, he couldn't guard much outside of the key whatsoever. If they stepped out a little bit, you were in trouble. But the fact that he's made that progress to guard better on the perimeter, I think, is what elevates him to the DPOY. Yeah.
All right. Who do you have for Rookie of the Year?
My Rookie of the Year is Luka Doncic.
Same.
Yeah. Obviously,
it's close. But...
It's close. It's not horribly close, in my opinion. It's there. Trae Young has made a late season push for it, I think.
Yeah.
But I just think you look at the player that's had the most impact on his team, and it's Luka all the way in that aspect.
Yeah.
Even though just earlier I was talking about how much I love Trae Young, it's Luka. What else is there? Six man. That's Lou. That's Lou Williams.
It's Lou Williams.
That's Lou Williams all the way, man. Who else are you
going to give that to?
Yeah, that's Lou Williams, through and through.
Who else is averaging 20?
That's over. There's no discussion about that. MIP, who's your most improved player?
I've got Pascal Siakam.
I love Pascal Siakam, but I'm giving it to D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo?
Mine's D'Angelo Russell.
And then there's also talk for De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is in that conversation as well.
Either one of those three gets it.
It's just, for me, it comes down to this. Do you value the actual player development more, or do you value what they've been able to achieve more in a season? I think of that as that's the Pascal Siakam versus D'Angelo Russell. Pascal Siakam has come out and he's a whole new player. Who was Pascal Siakam? Who was he? And then now he exists. I mean, that's ridiculous. The Raptors might have made him in a lab behind in their stadium, and I wouldn't know. And so that's the player development for me. You turn the other direction and you look at what they've been able to achieve with their development. And to me, that's where D'Angelo Russell comes in at a higher echelon than Pascal Siakam. Obviously, I think Pascal's achieved a lot this year, especially at being a player that the Raptors didn't know they needed, and that he's been there for them when they needed him. But D'Angelo, coming off of a not very good season, a struggling season with injuries, I think, right? He was injured last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then coming to a Nets team that definitely shouldn't have made the playoffs, and not only being there, and not even doing better, not even being better in every category, but also being better for his team. The Nets head coach, well, what's his name?
Why is this? Kenny Atkinson.
Kenny Atkinson, thank you. Kenny Atkinson speaks so highly of D'Angelo Russell, which is a huge turnaround from how Magic talked about him after the trade. You know, Magic didn't have really anything nice to say. Now, at this point, who cares what Magic says, considering that he barely made it, 3 years with the Lakers? Barely. So, you know, who cares what he has to say? But at the same time, it's obvious that D'Angelo Russell has developed as a player and a leader and a person. And obviously, they don't care about the person aspect, but I do. And so that's why I chose him for my MIP.
All right. Coach of the year.
Well, the booty.
the booty holzer.
The Budenholzer. Mike Budenholzer.
Mike Budenholzer. Took a Bucks team and cranked out 60 wins. Created something from, like, if you had told me like 5 years ago when we were sophomores or something like that, if you had told me that the Bucks were going to be the best team in the East, I would have been like, what? Did Jabari Parker become God?
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't believe you. I just wouldn't believe you. And I don't think he's been. Obviously, he hasn't been the coach that whole time. But
yeah, just this season.
Right, but that doesn't deny the fact that he was part of that development, and he not only that, but this last season is when they made that jump. They were great last season, but it's this season where they made that jump, and that you can't overlook, and that you look at him.
You have arguably the best player in the NBA, and he found the system to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he found a system that complements Giannis to where Giannis can put up insane numbers and win without having to play 38 minutes a game. Right? Giannis plays about as much minutes as the top rookies do.
Right.
Like 32. So that's just crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. All right, is that all of them?
And I have the Executive of the Year award.
Oh,
it's less fancy, but mine's John Horst, the Bucks GM.
Yeah, I think I think that'd be a pretty good.
The moves they made.
Yeah,
to get rid of Jason Kidd, pick up Mike Budenholzer.
I would throw
get Brooke Lopez.
I would throw the Clippers GM in there. I don't know his name.
Just for highway robbery.
Yeah, just for that. I mean, a couple different good trades that put them in the position that they're at. You know, so that's who I'd put in there. What is that Clippers? What's that GM's name?
I don't know. I know the president's Jerry West.
Yeah. Let me look it up.
I could also throw in the Raptors.
Yeah.
GM, president. His name I cannot pronounce and I never will.
Michael Winger.
Is the Clippers?
Yeah. I forget who it was. There was just a quote saying, I think I mentioned it before, that the night they secured the trade for Zubats,
they were just laughing.
They laughed and ate steak and laughed about the highway robbery they got away with, which is insane. But yeah, is there any of the awards we missed?
No.
NBA Journalist of the Year.
Best dress.
All
those stupid. All best dunk, best block.
Best assist.
Yeah, best assist. That is one.
Best flop.
Best steal. Derek White last night against the Nuggets.
Best punch thrown. That'd be who's that? Rondo and was that Rondo and Chris Paul?
Rondo and Chris Paul.
That's the was that the two that fought? That's the best. That's the best punch thrown to me.
That was a good one.
All right.
Hey, and Game of Zones is back.
Yes, Game of Zones is back. with a great first episode about the Timberwolves.
Is this Andrew's heart? No, it's not big enough.
Great episode. Did you see the goat in the background doing the Michael Jordan thing?
No, I did.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. He dunks like right. That was hilarious. That was good. Real quick, another thing about Game of Thrones and the NBA, because you know how whenever two things correlate, they always make make graphics with it and stuff, right? You know, when the Avengers were big, they were making NBA players into Avengers, and they're doing Game of Thrones now because Game of Thrones the new season starts tonight for people listening. But they had an image of the Warriors as the White Walkers, and I don't know, you don't watch Game of Thrones. I know you don't. It's pretty much the big bad guy of Game of Thrones that everyone's worried about. But they're the bad guy of Game of Thrones. Everyone's a bad guy in Game of Thrones technically, but that's besides the point. And it was all the playoff leaders, all the guys, all like the big playoff players, all like pointing, like charging at them, and they were on top of this pile of dead bodies, and one of the dead bodies was LeBron James, and like they did him dirty, dude. It was bad, but that was just funny to me that they like you can't tell who some of the other players are, but then you just see one dead body on this pile with the crown next to it falling off that says LeBron on it or something like that. It was dirty. I think it was Bleacher Report.
Oh, I love Game of Thrones.
All right. What you got next? What you got next for us?
All right, so my segment is I've taken the teams, and this is the playoff team's road to the finals, and I've kind of categorized my thoughts on every team.
Okay.
And I've put them into categories on kind of what I feel their limits are.
Okay.
In the finals. So category 1, this is the no chance teams. Meaning there's nothing that can happen to get them to the finals.
That's
unless
brutal.
they just become exalted.
Okay.
So these teams are the Orlando Magic, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Indiana Pacers, and the Detroit Pistons. So the common theme that I had, originally I didn't have the Pistons there, and the common theme was that these teams, none of them have a star.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to playoffs, you're going to need that guy.
And
then I threw in the Detroit Pistons because they're just not going to get past Milwaukee.
Right. And you didn't put the Jazz in there?
No.
Okay.
Did not. You will see.
Okay.
See.
I agree with all those. Those are pretty good.
Yeah. I don't. The Magic. Congrats on getting a game, but even if they did somehow get past the Raptors, they're not going to win the East.
No, they're not. They're not.
Yeah. So category 2, this is the Do You Believe in Miracles category. These are players that could do it, but they're gonna need a little divine help.
Miracle on Ice.
So the first team is the Portland Trailblazers.
Okay, I agree.
Obviously, they would not be in this category if Nurkic was. I think they'd be in category 3 if Nurkic was here, but they're in 2. And so the miracle they need is Damian just has to become the most legendary player of all time. He has to average 50.
You know, I would argue that he has to do better, but I would argue CJ McCollum has to come in and elevate to a new status.
Oh yeah,
that's what I would argue.
Yeah, and I said that Zach Collins has to average 15 and 10.
Yeah, no.
He has to play great. He has to play great defense.
See, that's the thing. I don't think he has to. I think he has to average 10, but I think he has to come in and somehow become a ridiculous defensive threat and canter as well. Mm-hmm. That's the only way. Who else?
So also in the Do You Believe in Miracles, I have the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
I think if the thing for them is that everything has to click every night. They're not allowed to have any off nights if they want to go all the way.
I don't think they'll get past the Bucks no matter what. I'd put them in the no chance, just because they don't have an answer for Giannis or. I think Brook Lopez. Again, I'm still on the fact that I think that Jared Allen isn't a great defender and that they struggle out of the center position. So I think Brook will come in there and do some work too. I don't think they'll get past the Bucks.
Yeah, I couldn't put every team in the no chance because otherwise the entire Western Conference might be in there.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, here we go. So and then the third team in the Do You Believe in Miracles? I have the Spurs.
Okay.
The main thing for them is. They just have to. The game has to slow down, and they have to hit their shots. And I think they can win. They're one of the best home teams in the NBA.
Ridiculously good. They're stupid good at home.
So if they can steal, they just need to steal one game on the road, and they can pretty much guarantee themselves a victory if they win those next 3 at their home, even if they lose the rest on the road.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
I agree with that. I think with Spurs, it relies on Popovich still being the guru that he is, knowing how to shred these teams.
Category 3, the talent is there. So these are teams that, you know, the talent is there. They have it. It's just a matter of either experience or just will it all come together. So the first team there is the Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
And I think the biggest thing, reason they're not up one more peg, so I have 5 categories. Reason they're in 3 is I think their lack of experience is going to hurt them. We saw that last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jokic needs to be more dominant. Just watching that game last night, that was really what made me switch Joel Embiid to first team, because Jokic was just gone. He seemed out of shape. He seemed like he couldn't run. I was really confused. But
yeah,
so the talent's there.
The talent is there. It's just, I agree. We've said it from the start. They don't have playoff experience. This is a whole different beast. Despite what Kawhi Leonard said when he said it's just another game, it's a different.
I love that quote.
It's a different beast, and
you just add playoff in front of it.
Yeah, but okay. Who else do you have in that section?
All right, talent is there. Denver Nuggets. I have the Utah Jazz.
Okay.
Just based solely on defensive talent, I don't think this is their year. I think, though, if Ingles could average 20 a game, they're in a good place. That's their main problem, is they don't have a secondary scorer to pair along Donovan Mitchell. So I noted, I know there's a lot of talk about them maybe trading for Mike Conley, but I think if they could trade for Drew Holiday, they'd be one of the top teams in the West.
Yeah, no one talks about how much space they have. They have the ability to take on another good player, and they would do really well with one.
Yeah, because if they can run it back with close to the same team, but add Drew Holiday, have someone else who can score 20 alongside Donovan Mitchell, plus have one of the best defensive guards adding to their already best defense in the league, I think it'd be insane. But yeah, I think the talent's there, but it's not going to come together.
I agree.
And then I have the 76ers.
Really?
And the biggest thing for them is they need to learn how to shoot threes. They're never going to win if they can't shoot, because all they have is JJ Redick.
I watched Joel Embiid brick 3 threes in a row the other night, and it was painful to watch. Man, if only they had drafted a guard who was an exceptional shooter in college and could have came in there and been their point guard and shot really well and been a really good scorer. If only they had done that.
He was like a 40% shooter, right?
Yeah, if only they had done that. Man.
Too bad his shoulder hurt.
Yeah, too bad he got the yips.
Oh, the yips.
The yips.
I've seen a sports therapist.
Don't you hate that when all of a sudden your shoulder just goes like this and just changes?
Oh, it's broken.
Yeah, it's
I
done.
Can't shoot anymore.
That's the yips.
Oh, Jimmy Butler's coming? Trade me. Trade me. I want to trade.
I want to trade. It's Game of Thrones. I love that.
All right, category 4. One away from the top. This is on the cusp.
On the cusp.
These are teams that are right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the Houston Rockets.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
They have to hope for a Warriors injury. Really.
Yeah.
And they have to stay healthy themselves.
Yeah. And they have to shoot lights out.
Yeah, they can't miss 27 threes in a row.
They cannot.
Or whatever that number was.
It's ridiculous.
The Oklahoma City Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Think they're on the cusp. I think Russell Westbrook has to stay calm, because obviously it's going to be the Warriors he's facing to get to the finals. So he has to stay calm, and he needs to not take those stupid shots he takes.
I know he has to stay calm in his entire game, these playoffs. He has to become calculated. He's not a calculated player all the time. Sometimes he is, sometimes he's not. And it just seems like sometimes he gets in a mindset of I need to score.
Yeah.
And it's like
that's why he shoots so poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bill Simmons said, Russell Westbrook, he's the player who has every game has 5 to 10 shots where you're like, why did he shoot that?
Mm-hmm.
There's 20 seconds on the shot clock. He's 30 feet out. Why did he shoot that? If we could just take away half of those, I mean, that's 10 to 20 more points that they could score. instead of a brick.
Agreed.
But yeah, so OKC's on the cusp. And then I have the Boston Celtics on the cusp.
Yeah, I like that.
And this is me ranking them pretty high because I'm not too hot on them. The biggest thing for them is things just have to click.
Yeah.
They have to be the good team that they should be.
Things have to start working. Like that rust that for some reason is still on there through the entire season, that grindiness that for some reason they haven't figured out, they need to oil it up and it needs to start running smoothly all the way. Just for some visual, just to visualize it a little bit for people.
Because this was supposed to be the number 1 seed in the East.
Right. It's like sometimes it's like they run fine and it seems like it's going fine, and then there's a problem, and it's just the Celtics. There's a lot riding on this right now, and this and next season will tell what's going to happen.
All right, and then there's Category 5, which I have titled "See You in the Finals." These are teams that basically, so long as they don't do anything stupid, they should make it. Obviously the Golden State Warriors. They pretty much punched their ticket. If they can stay healthy and I don't know, stop being idiots. I don't know why they fight so much and act so dumb. Like with the whole Kevin Durant and Patrick. It's like you're the best team in the league. Just calm down.
It's become unnecessary. It's become strangely out of nowhere, and it's become unnecessary.
Yeah, like the fighting with the refs. It's like they feel entitled or something. Like they shouldn't get calls because Steve Kerr, like him and Popovich are the two coaches where on any given night it's like, are they going to get ejected? And then even Curry complaining to officials, that's not something I'm used to.
No.
I just think they need to take a lesson from Klay Thompson and just sit back and be mellow.
I agree.
Yeah. And then there's 2 Eastern Conference teams in the See You in the Finals category. It's the Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors.
Yep.
Because they are the only thing blocking each other from that final spot. I think for the Bucks, I'm so excited to see what playoff Giannis is.
If it is.
I'm just to see Giannis Antetokounmpo play more than 32 minutes to just go nuts. He's going to average like 40 and 20.
You think so?
He's going to go insane. And so if Giannis comes out and is just this amazing player, if he is the new, like playoff Rondo, playoff LeBron, if there's a playoff Giannis, Bucks are all the way.
Okay.
I think I still hold by what I said a couple podcasts ago that the Raptors are the team to beat in the East. I think they need to get out of their own heads. Obviously, last night was evidence of that. I think Kyle Lowry needs to play like an all-star point guard.
That he is.
It's inexcusable to get 0 points.
Yeah.
I saw the stat that said in his last 5 game ones of the playoffs,
30 points.
He has 33 points.
33 points total. That's ridiculous.
He's averaging around 6 points a game for the first game. It's like, so who was the problem? Because DeMar DeRozan had 20 and 10 last night. Yeah. And beat a 2 seed.
Yeah.
And you're the number 2 seed and you just lost.
Yeah, he's got to step up. I mean, it's obvious. We all agree that. We all see it. No one's going to deny that fact. It's just still it's inexcusable, and he needs to, whatever the problem is, shake it off and let's go. Take the next 4 games.
Yeah, if he's not ready right now, put his butt on the bench and start Corey Joseph because he had 14 points.
Yeah.
Right? Because he obviously is ready to go. So I don't know if they can get out of their own heads and play because Kawhi was great, Spicy P was great, Corey Joseph was great. They were great. Yeah. It's just they need a little help from their all-star point guard.
And that's when everyone's like, oh, they lost the buzzer. Their all-star point guard was 0 for 5. Like, if you want to,
they scored 17 points in the second quarter.
Yeah, if you want to ask like where those extra points should have been, he's right there. He's a person. Like, it's obvious.
Yeah. You lose by 3. Maybe your starting point guard should have gotten more than 0 points.
Yeah. When your whole team went off and you lose, and the other team did too, that's something else. That's a hard fought game. But when one of your starters has 0 points, there's an issue there. That's the problem. But that's we'll see what happens when Game 2 comes around. Yeah. I personally think they're going to stomp them in Game 2. I think Raptors come out and make a statement. I think Kawhi comes out and does a little bit better. I think they all come out and just do better because they know they're better. And yeah. So
it has to be a blowout.
If
it's not a blowout, they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I categorize the teams. That's how I kind of see this playing out.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's going to come down. I think some of the teams I think are going to get. I think it's going to be the upset for me. The upset I see happening is the Nets and the Sixers. If Joel Embiid's health is still in question over the series, I think that's an upset easy right there. But the rest of the teams, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and I'm excited for it. You know, we have more games tonight. Celtics right now, as we speak, are currently beating the Pacers pretty badly.
Yeah.
They gave up Pacers gave up an 11-point lead so far. So, yeah, I mean, it's playoff season. It's hyped. It's exciting. And I think that's all we got for today. You got anything else, Ezra?
No, I'm just looking forward to seeing how this first round pans out.
Yeah. We'll have more next week about the first round. Kind of talk about what we see going on with teams, how some teams can come back if they're struggling. But we'll see y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in, and y'all have a nice day.